So how is everybody today? I feel like I'm moving in slow motion. It's been a rough week. And yeah, I don't know. It seems like the heat takes it out of you. How hot is it where you're at? Let me know. I posted that yesterday. It is pretty amazing. I posted it on my Facebook page, that is. All right, one more place here. There we go. All right. So how is everybody? You ready to make a wreath with me? I don't know how far we'll get done. I'm on kind of a tight schedule today, but I thought I'd go ahead and at least get started. And I got a big part of it already cut and all that kind of thing. So, but before I start, I had this sitting on the table. I wanted to show you what we made on our group last night in my wreath making group. We made this fall arrangement, and I am in love with it. I wasn't really sure how I was going to start, and that's usually the way I decorate or the way I design. I just kind of start with a concept in my mind, and I just kind of wing it. A lot of times I got to leave and go get another piece that I know I have, but anyway, let me show you. I'll show TikTok here first. But it just has a little hint of the orange, just enough to know it's there and make it a little bit more fall. But I really liked it. Here it is up close on Facebook and YouTube. But we made that. I always do, twice a month, we do what I call a freestyle live, and I just pick something, just whatever mood I'm in, and we just pick it and make it. Isn't that cool? So anyway, I'll get that set off to the side here. So let me see who all's here. Hey, Carol. Hey, Mary. There's Lourdes. How are you? In the Berlin. Connie. Barbara. Oh, shoot. I've got to do something. If anybody knows how to do this, my laptop, it has something where you just barely touch it and it goes someplace else. I don't know. I am not a tech person. I mean, when I grew up, and let me know if you're the same way, but we didn't have computers back then, and all this technology stuff, I'm at a loss. I just feel like I'm kind of winging it. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much. Hey, sewing goddess. And there's lovely lady Inva. On TikTok, if you guys wouldn't mind, tell me your real name too in the comments. I always like to learn that because you have some really funky names. There's Jane. I can figure that one out. And Matter Families. There's Marcel, Floridan. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. You guys, if you go to Hobby Lobby when fall comes out, I'm sure you've seen this sign. And grab a handful of them every year, and I just think it's just a really a nice sign, a not nice all around sign. But I like to make wreaths with this, and I just like the rich colors, and black never hurts anything. Having a little pop of black, and we're gonna put some in this wreath here. But I wanted to make something. I've made floral the last several weeks, and I thought I'm going to try doing a Deco mesh wreath this week instead. But I pulled all my colors from this, and I've got, I went ahead and I made the base. And I'm from the generation, if you guys are like me, I have, back when I first started making mesh wreaths, about only kind of mesh we had was the 21 inch. And so I've got tubs of it out there. I mean, tubs of it that I'm working through. And our designs we make nowadays, we don't use it so much, but I still have been making my base with it as often as I can so I can use up some of those, those 21 inch rolls. But I did go ahead, I'm working on a 15 to 24 inch elevated work wreath. And if you're not familiar, the elevated part means that the inner ring is higher than the outer ring. And it has ties on it, pre-made. I like that. I mean, you can also get them where they don't have the ties already on them. I like the simplicity of it. But there's 18 ties. I went ahead and I used my 21-inch mesh, and I made 10-inch posts all the way around. And pretty much with me, I stick with the same recipes. And I try to teach that to my members of my group. I'm going to give you recipes and just change out the pieces. And it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it if you just stick with the same tried and true recipes. As I said, substitute the elements. But as I said, the inspiration was this sign right here. I've already gone ahead, I cut my ribbon, and I've got two 1.5-inch ribbons and four wait a minute, let me say that over. I've got two 2.5-inch ribbons, four 1.5-inch ribbons, and I've cut them to 14-inch strips. And a lot of times you'll see me go back after I've been designing for a bit and getting toward the end of the wreath, and I'll start trimming off some. Sometimes I'll shorten the inner ribbons to about 13 inches, give or take, but I usually would do that at the end. I also have 3 different 10 inches mesh. What's the plural of mesh? Meshy, mesh? What do you guys think? How do you say that? I never really thought about that until I said it out loud. Yeah, Kathy's buying 21-inch mesh for bases. Yeah. And like I said, back when I first started, that's about all we had. You guys, if you're brand new to wreath making, especially mesh wreath making, we didn't have nothing. Nothing. I mean, we had some basic ribbons, hardly any designs. But anyway, so I've got the mesh, and I've got 3 different colors of mesh this is 10-inch mesh, and I cut these in 20-inch strips. And we're going to be scattering those around. I've got some jute mesh. I love poly jute mesh. I use it a lot. And had I not had a color that would work with this one, I would have used poly jute 21-inch for my base. That's my go-to. But anyway, I've got the poly jute. I've got this, it's kind of a brownish gold. And then I've got this moss green. And they're all in 20-inch strips. So that's how far I've gotten. I'm going to try and make this wreath standing up like this. We'll see how it goes. I usually do the first part sitting down, but I just can't get it with all my cameras going on right now. So, hey, Cricket. There's Foodie. Hi, how are you? I don't know. Edith's saying, don't know why you make fun of Dollar Tree things. Who's making fun of Dollar Tree things? I don't know who's making fun of it, Edith, but all right. Let's see on YouTube. Is anybody over there on YouTube? Let me know who's out there. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. And I'm just going to put one of these ruffles in each one of the ties. Yeah, we don't allow making fun on my channel. We don't tolerate that. If we start making fun, we're out of here. And I usually don't have to do it. Usually it's you supporters that take care of it for me. And I'm usually in the dark and don't even know it happened. And I do appreciate that. But I like the ruffle look. You don't really even have to put a ruffle on your base if if you're doing a craft show and you want to do different kinds of, different levels of cost or price points for your customers. You don't have to put these ruffles on. I just like it. Now, if I'm making something like I've got what do I want to say, a police officer's wreath that I make, I usually don't put ruffles on that because that, to me, it kind of makes it look kind of girly. Let me grab this here. So what's everybody doing today? Hey, Marion. Oh, there's Pauletta. I knew some people were over there lurking. How are you, Pauletta? Oh, Sally, first timer, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And I try to go live. My scheduled days, I try to go live about 10 o'clock, give or take, 10 o'clock on Fridays in the mornings. And then we do bows every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and this is Eastern time. But welcome. And like I said just now, I mean, you can pretty much be assured it's safe to ask any questions here. We don't tolerate, meanness or anything like that. So don't feel like any question is silly or, so everybody should know that. Heck, I don't know a lot of stuff. I learn stuff every single day. But welcome. I appreciate you being here. Hey, Marianne. Oh, thank you, Carol. It's not quite finished. And if you're a first timer, my wall, I've been working on it. I used to have a white background here, and it was actually the back of a pegboard that my husband put up for me. But it was, I don't know, the white really bothered me. It was kind of garish almost. He had put these fluorescent lights up here too, and I think that the light with it was just really harsh, and the pegboard holes made it look kind of busy, and especially in Christmas time, whenever I'd make a wreath that had a lot of white on it, you couldn't really see what was going on in the wreath because it'd get lost in the background. And so anyway, I've been thinking about doing this for 2 years at least. So, but yeah, I love it. Thank you. And I actually have some other stuff that hasn't gotten here yet that I'm going to be working on. Hopefully I'll get here soon. So, oh, thank you for following Beach Bummin'. Beach Bummin' RN. I like that. What kind of nursing do you do? If you don't know, I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse practitioner, actually. I retired about 2 years ago. My specialty was open heart surgery, lung and vascular stuff, but I miss it. But I've been in healthcare, was in healthcare about 30 years. Can't believe it. Oh, you thought I was making fun of you? No, 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 no. No, I don't even think I said anything about Dollar Tree today, have I? If I did, I didn't mean it. But no, we don't say bad things about anything. And I tell you, and even if you don't like what I make, and you can comment, I don't care, but as long as it's a nice, respectful, because I don't like everything I make. I don't like things some people make, so we all have differing tastes, and we all have differing budgets. And like I said, I make some stuff that I don't like either. I don't like that ruffle for sure. It's not laying in there right. Let me start this one over. But yeah, as long as it's respectful, differing opinions is what makes the worlds go round. That's what I think anyway. Like I said, if you're mean, nah, we don't do that. Okay. Let's see, we need a jute one yet. I got messed up on my pattern. I usually do the outside one first, the outside cut mesh. Instead, for some reason, I started on the inside. I've gotten out of the habit. I always tell people, try to make your bases in batches. And I'm actually out of my bases right now. That's why I'm having to go through here and do this part. This is the boring part to me. So, oh, thank you guys for following. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. I have to give you a commission. Thank you, Kathy. All right, so where do I need to go here? Yeah, I mean, wreath making and creating, floral arranging, all that kind of thing, it has to be fun. It just has to be. That's how I actually kind of got into doing the wreath making full time. Working in open heart surgery, you can imagine. I mean, we worked long hours and always, I mean, it was always stressful. I mean, every single day was stressful. You just never knew what was going to happen. And I used wreath making as my way to come down here and decompress. I'd work a 12-hour shift, and you come home and you're all stressed out. And wreath making, I'd come down here and not think about anything but creating, and the rest of all the other worries went away. So that's how I kind of got into doing it full time. So it's kind of addicting, in case you guys haven't noticed. All right, we're almost done with the inside. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss one? No. I'm missing some. Oh, shoot. They fell off the table. They're behind my table. As I say, I'm missing some of my mesh, and it fell off the table onto the floor. I have to get it. I have to crawl underneath. You guys will be able to see if I can get back up. So what's everybody doing today? Besides staying in and trying to stay cool. Oh, Debbie says she hasn't made any of them that's 100% happy with. That's okay. That's okay. We can always keep tweaking, but that's okay. And you know what? Whenever I first started wreath making, I made this wreath, and I don't even know what I was thinking of when I made it, but I was actually talking to one of my friends and telling them about it, and telling them, I hate it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know whether to post it. And they talked me into going ahead and posting it. And I ended up selling multiples of that wreath. I just thought I was crazy when I did it, but actually it sold better than some of the things I really liked. So, but it was different. That was the thing about it. It was different. So, am I in Virginia? No, I'm in Indiana. And Russian Hookers is wanting to know any for sale. And I do have wreaths for sale and arrangements. It's at in my Etsy shop, Adorable Deco Decor. And I actually have a link in my bio on TikTok. And are those pipe cleaners? No, these are wreath ties. This is actually a pre-made wreath form, and it comes with these ties on it. Now you can use pipe cleaners, don't get me wrong, but this it's already made like this, and so it saves a lot of time. But they're just like big fat. They actually call these kinds tinsel ties. They also have a thicker one. I like the thinner, the tinsel ties. But all right, now's the time. I've got to crawl underneath the table and get the mesh that fell off of my table. If you don't see me for a bit, call 911 because I can't get up. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Phew, that's harder than it used to be. Anybody else relate? Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you. Now, I did want to answer a question too. Actually, I saw it on email right before I went live, so I didn't have time to respond. But if you are the person that emailed me and asked a question about mesh raveling, she had bought some mesh that wasn't such a great quality, and there was a lot of raveling, lots of fraying, and like a lot of fraying on the edges here, and then also a lot of fraying on the body of the mesh. And what she was asking, what can I do, sort of taking it apart. And when you get fraying and I mean, there was like holes in the mesh right here, you're not going to fix that. You've got to either hide it, by with some ribbon, or an attachment, a sign, something like that. You can cover it, or you can just take out that piece of mesh. You are not going to be able to fix this part. Now, when you're talking about fray on the edges, the cut edges, usually what I do, I don't do anything with it while I'm making the project, but then right before I ship off a wreath, I already have it packed in the box and everything. I'll take my scissors and I'll just clip it. You don't want to pull it because that can sometimes lead to more fray, but I just go and kind of clip off any stray edges, and any mesh is going to fray. There's just no two ways about it. It's going to fray. There's different ways of limiting that. And actually, I talk about that a lot in my ABC course that we just had last weekend. Like not wearing sweaters while you're working with mesh. That's one of them. And I'm still missing I'm missing a piece, guys. Another mesh piece. That's all right. We'll get it. I don't think I knocked any more. I just one off. I must not have counted right. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're good. Losing my mind. All right, but back to the mesh. Like I said, the part that you showed me that was on the cut edge, you can trim that off. The part that is in the body of the mesh, you got to cover it up or replace it. That's the only thing you can do. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. Thank you so much. Hey, Vanessa, thank you for following. All right, let me check in with YouTube over here before we get on to the next step. Hey, Vanita. What length is the mesh cut? It is 20-inch strips. And the base, I made it's 10-inch poofs. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, I just, if I had to pick between floral and mesh, my heart is with floral. But mesh can be fun. And I haven't made any mesh wreaths for a while. I get in kicks where I make one kind and then I don't, I ignore the others. But yeah. Got to get started on your wreath making. Yeah, it has been hot. How hot is it, Dorothy? And Jamie's working on getting her craft dungeon cleaned up. Yeah, that's an everyday. Every day you have to. And I try to make that as my rule. Before I leave, my mess has to be picked up. Now I don't do that 100% of the time, but it just feels better when I walk back down here and it's clean. And I'm talking this area right here. I'm not talking behind the magic wall. So, all right. So now, next thing we want to do, I'm going to put some ribbon on. And again, if you're just tuning in, I've got two 2.5-inch ribbons. These two. I love this combo here. The colors match exactly. And then I've got two 1.5-inch ribbons that I'm matching with each one of the 2.5s. So I've got 4 1.5s total. And all of my strips are cut to 14 inches if you're just tuning in. So, oh yeah, Kathy, you're right. Kathy says you can be more creative with a floral. You're right, exactly. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can do both, I guess. There's just not as many recipes that I know right now with the mesh. But yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I put this black in here just to kind of tie in with the sign, but I don't usually do this, but I'm going to put it in the back. I just want a little bit of it showing. And we're going to put some of this ribbon in each one of the wreath ties. 86 in Harrison, Ohio. We're like neighbors. I'm in Indiana. And it's supposed to get close to 100 today here. I don't know what it is right now, but it's really humid. People think because we're in the Midwest that it doesn't get that hot here, but it does get pretty warm, but it's the humidity that just gets you. I mean, sometimes I walk out, like today, I walked out and my glasses immediately fogged over. Trying to get more 2.5-inch ribbon in your inventory. Yeah, 2.5, and while you're at it, get some 4-inch. I've got a 4-inch I might use in the bow on this one, if I decide to put a bow on it. I don't know yet if I'm going to or not. And like I said, I usually do this part down on the table, but for the sake of videoing, I'm trying to do it standing up here. I do most of my designing standing up. And we're just going to spread these out. So what about you guys? What do you make more of? Do you make more floral or do you make more mesh? Or you're like me and just go back and forth and get in a groove with one and stick with it for a while? What do you guys do? Oh, move a little bit to the left, and that's probably my opposite. Let me look here. Did I go the right way? Let me know, Laura. Let me know if I went the right way for you. Because it's backwards. From what you see, it's backwards to me. And it gets me turned around all the time. Make both, but sell more of the mesh. Oh, Johnny Paul or Paul Johnny. Yeah, well, you ought to join us in our wreath group. If you go to letsmakewreaths.com, we'd be happy to have you. And we do both. And in my wreath making group, we do mesh, we do floral, probably more floral, I bet. I try to do some mesh every month, but we do floral and mesh wreaths, and we do arrangements, we do garlands. But yeah, we'd love to have you. And it's a great group. It's actually open right now. I haven't been really advertising it, but it is open right now. I had to make sure I didn't cut myself. Okay, thank you, Laura. Yeah, like I said, that is my left, so that's strange. Usually it's the opposite of what I see on the screen. But yeah, we teach a lot in there. We have weekly edited tutorials, and then we also have 2 freestyles a month. Have a monthly Q&A. What else do we do? We have a drawing every month for a box of goodies. I'm missing, weekly wreath critiques. I knew I was forgetting something. Weekly wreath critiques we do. But we have a lot of fun. And I always brag, I have the best group. And I'm not saying that because of the teacher, I'm saying it because of my members. They are just fabulous. Really a great bunch of people. Oh, Kathy went back to making some mesh wreaths. Yeah. Yeah, I think my floral sells better, I think. I mean, I sell both. But I think the floral sells better, but probably because I make more of it. And it seems like in the, closer I get to Christmas and fall, I start making a little bit more mesh. Especially Christmas. I make a lot of floral, I guess, but I make probably more mesh in the winter and the fall than I do in the summer and the spring. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, Johnny Paul, fiber stuff like crocheting. Oh my gosh. We may have to swap. You may have to teach me crochet and vice versa. I taught myself how to knit. I could not crochet to save my life. I don't know what it is about it. And everybody says knitting is harder, but I don't know. I just couldn't ever get it. So I finally gave up. I like what the crochets look like. Now, if I was making this laying down, I'd already have this first layer done. but that's okay. All right. Gosh, we're going slow here. Speed up. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yeah, Nancy's been with me forever. Yeah, and most of our group has been in there for a long, long time. We've got some new people, and welcome more, but and people always, I have some people say, well, why would I pay for it? Oh shoot, I grabbed two ribbons. Hang on. Grab two of these. Say, why would I pay for it when there's all these tutorials on the internet? And I can tell you, it's a lot different when you got one of my tutorials anyway. So we go into a lot of depth in it, and plus it's all in one place. It's all in one place instead of having to hunt for this, that, and the other. So. But if you have any questions about it, just go to letsmakewreaths.com, and I've got everything. Oh, thank you for following. Thank you so much. Yeah, I tried to learn how to crochet back years ago. So I said to me, I just thought the designs were really pretty. I couldn't do it. Some of it would be real tight, some of it would be real loose. I think I was taking out all my frustration on my yarn. Okay, let's see. Like I said, this is always the part that takes forever to me. Putting on these ribbons and the mesh. I always want to get on to the fun things. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gail. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot different. Plus, like I said, we got some, with the group, you learn where to find the things that you're using, and you know, options. If this doesn't work, well then try this. As far as supplies, because you know, especially like right now, you can't necessarily get everything that you need. Got to do a lot of substituting right now. Oh goodness, one more in this outside ring. I think that's the hardest one when you're doing it up on the stand like this. Oh, thank you for following, Mary. I appreciate that. Just FYI, I recommend doing this part on the table. But like I said, when I try to design, then I just can't envision it, like putting the finishing touches on it. I just can't do that. Probably because I'm short, vertically challenged. Oh, thank you, Carol. Oh, thank you. Dorothy's wanting to know when my next bow tutorial will be on YouTube. Yeah, I do those every Tuesday at around 1 o'clock Eastern time. And if I don't, like if for some reason I can't go live, I always try to put in a bow, like one of my bow videos or something that's talking about, you know, matching ribbons, that kind of thing. We don't just make bows. We also talk about how to pick ribbons. And Dorothy's asking about my bow tutorials on YouTube. But I also go live on TikTok and Facebook every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. And that's, you know, anything ribbon, bows, you know, how to choose them. One time I went live while I was at market picking out bow kits. That was a fun one. The only thing, I had lost my voice, so I couldn't talk very well. But actually the market I went for, it was actually over, and I ended up having to stay because my daughter-in-law was going to have a baby. And so I just went down there and there was hardly anybody there. And I thought it was a perfect time to go live there. Usually at markets, there's like thousands of people. There's just all kinds of people from all over the country. All right, and I talked about earlier about, you know, clipping this off, you know, I've got the ribbons made to 14 inches, but for example, this one, these two, I know I'm going to trim those down when we get further along. You like the easy bow, Dorothy? I mean, there's pros and cons to all of them, all the bow makers. I use the Pro Bow for some. I use the Easy Bow for some. My preference is to hand make them. Yeah, there's pros and cons to both. Like I said, I just wanted a little hint of that black showing, just to tie in that sign. Let's see, let's see where my hanger is. Okay. Have to get Fred, now I'm right there with you. I get bored really easily. Super easily. Like right now, this part here is boring me to death. Unless I'd have you guys talking to me. That helps a lot. We're almost done with this part though. Got like 3 or 4 more. Oh, thank you, Phyllis. Oh, thank you, Sweet Texas Tea. Thank you. Where are you from in Texas? My son lives in Grapevine. I go there not often enough, but I do go there pretty often. Tomball, I actually know where that is. Isn't it down by Houston, isn't it? Now watch me be wrong, but I was thinking it was down by Houston. Yeah, close to Houston. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because my boy, he got married at, what was the name of it? But I remember seeing the Tomball Road. What was the name of that place? It started with a W. I can't remember. Now that's going to bug me, and I'm not going to be able to think of anything else until I think of that name. The Woodlands. That's what it was. The Woodlands. That's where he got married. Yes, and they got married in November in Houston area, in the Woodlands, and it was freezing cold. Freezing cold. And like the week before, the week after was like in the 70s and 80s, and it was so cold. We were all shivering. It was outdoors, beautiful place, but we were miserable. All right, I just saw I missed an edge. I'm just going to dovetail this real quick. Yeah, Woodlands, yes. Yes, it's gorgeous. They were, that's where they got married, and they were also having the Renaissance Fair at the same time. And that was interesting. I'd never seen such a thing. It was fun. Okay. One more, guys. One more. Okay. And like I said, if you're just joining in, some of these, especially on the inside, will look like they're too long, but like this to me looks too long, that looks too long. I just go back and I trim it afterwards. Sometimes I need it that long, sometimes I don't want it that long, so. All right, now, as I said, this was the inspiration for this whole design, this sign. I got it from Hobby Lobby. They have it every year. I love it. It's really a nice, um, versatile sign. I use it a lot. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna put it just right smack dab in the middle, right here. And here's a tip. It comes with this, a wreath hanger. This, I'll show it to you, this jute rope, like this. I always cut that off, and but I don't want to leave that empty hole. Let's see if you can see it on Facebook. I don't want to leave that empty hole, so I'd be sure I just tie the other end, I cut it, then tie the other end in a knot, and I glue it there, just so there, it adds a little rustic touch to it, goes along with my jute mesh, and again, you can leave the hanger on if you want to, but I usually cut it off. All right, I'm gonna have to stand right in front of it to see if I can get it exactly in the middle here. That looks good. I'm just gonna run it right straight through the mesh. Sometimes it takes a little doing to get exactly where you want it. Oh, I saw that come through. Where is it? I can feel it. I can't get a hold of it though. There we go. Here. I just usually tack it on here until I'm sure that's where I want it. All right, I'm gonna get right in front of it again here. Okay, I think that looks good. And I'm just going to tighten it a little bit. I'm not going to smash it back into the mesh. I'm just going to tighten it a little bit. So it won't go anywhere. Then of course you got to go back through and fix all your ribbons. And we'll come back and trim some of these. Some right here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and trim those guys right here right now while I'm thinking about it. All right. Giggy Joe 45, how can I start to make these when I don't have much cash? Well, I have to tell you, mesh is less expensive than florals if you're wanting to make it into wreath making, period. But mesh is less expensive than florals. But there's always, sales at Hobby Lobby, and, just look around. There a lot of times there's wreath makers that are getting out of business, but yeah, I mean, there's things to make for every budget. It's the best answer I can give you there. The Dollar Tree has a lot of supplies. You just got to pick and choose. I do get some things from Dollar Tree, not very much, but when people talk about the Dollar Tree mesh versus getting it someplace else, and when you look at it, a lot of times it's pretty even. It's pretty even on both sides, and you do get what you pay for, actually. But yeah, I buy some things at Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. Joann's has a lot of good sales. You can also in the Dollar Tree wreath frames, the wire work wreaths. They're not work wreaths; they're wire wreath frames. You pick up one of those, pick up some pipe cleaners, a little bit of mesh, and you can make a really pretty screen door wreath. So Michael's has some mesh for $5 or $6. Yeah, and to be honest, you can even get it at Craft Outlet less expensive with free shipping. I think you have to spend $69 total to get some free shipping, but it depends on what your budget is. But look around, get in the wreath making groups, and see all your options. Like I said, there's a lot of people that have kind of phased out of wreath making so much and gone more into making attachments and that kind of thing. So they're getting rid of their wreath making supplies. So they're just look around, get exposed, and you'll find a way. Yes, and Laura says she sees people selling their stuff on Facebook Marketplace all the time. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, Carol agrees, mesh is less expensive. Exactly. Especially if you're using quality florals. I mean, and I'm making some floral arrangement kits that I'm going to be selling, teaching how to make them, and then selling the kit with it. And I was actually talking to one of my friends, coaches, and people don't realize how expensive good florals are. I mean, you get a lot of money into an arrangement before you know it. So yeah, and Berline's saying there's several videos on how to make wreaths using all Dollar Tree products. You're exactly right. Oh, thank you, Dorothy. Yeah, that's a full-time job. It sure is. All right, I've got to go ahead and stop here. I am going to, it'll get a lot done to it yet. I'm going to put some pumpkins and, fix up my ribbons, and probably add a little bit of greenery, maybe some florals too. But like I said, I'm on a tight schedule today, so I'm going to have to go ahead and get off of here now. And if it happens, I'll go ahead and I'll make part 2 live. It might be sometime over the weekend, but I really appreciate everybody being here. There's lots of people out there going live at all hours of the day. I really appreciate you spending time with me. So, okay. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day.